Welcome, welcome, welcome to Love Land. Love Land, where we block out everything so we could listen to the messages when it comes to our hearts. Welcome to our wonderful Capricorns. How are you guys today? I know a lot of you are seeking love, a lot of you are in love, a lot of you are hoping for love. Let's just see what's surrounding us a little bit right now, Capricorns. What's on your mind? What's on your plate? Talk to us, spirits. Let us talk to Capricorns when it comes to love. Help us to answer some of their questions. Help us to let them know what's evolving in their circle. This is our quiet time. This was our peaceful time. This is our time when we recognize what's important to us and what we're feeling. Capricorns, I want you to clear your mind. I want you to breathe. I want you to block out all the noise and just listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and figure out what it is that you want. We have 3 decks that are going to give us some information when it comes to our love. Let us begin. Spirits, open the hearts, open the minds, open the options and possibilities so our Capricorns could know where their heart lies. Talk to us. Let us know what's going on. Capricorns, I hope you're in the right mode, the right spirit to receive. No deception for the Capricorn. Let them know what's going on. Speak through our heart. Let our messages be heard. Let our answers be revealed. Capricorn. 1, 2, 3. Where does our hearts lie? Can you do it? Let the messages shine through. Help us to understand. Help us to improve what needs to be improved. Help us to be the best when it comes to our hearts. Open the message door and let it shine through. 1, 2, 3. It's our time. Let the message shine through. And our special word that we will focus on when it comes to our hearts. 2, 3. Here we go. Spirits talk to us. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Okay, so this is somebody that is in sync with you, and it's influenced your relationship as to what you're involved with right now. That's important to you. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life, and it's worth waiting for. So whoever you're waiting for, they're on the right path. You may not have received that relationship as of yet, but doesn't mean you're not going to. It's on the path. It's in line with what you're wanting. Somebody that respects your religious factors, and it's somebody that's worth waiting for because they're in line with your thinking, what you're seeing. But I don't believe that you've met this person as of yet, because it's saying they're worth waiting for unless you've met them, but they haven't made a move as of yet. And it's somebody you may be getting to know or is on the path to getting to know. Let's see if you've already met this person, but these are the qualities that are important to you. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So 2 things we know it's important, not even 2, 1 thing that we know is important to you. someone that is aligned with your religious beliefs, somebody that can embrace your way of thinking, your love life, your family variations. It's someone that is open to receiving the things that you desire in life. So they're saying this person is definitely worth waiting for, to check some of your boxes, Capricorn. Somebody that feels the way you feel about your source and can share that aspect of your life with you. You know, a lot of times we get into relationships where everybody's not going to meet every box on the list, but this is a box that's important to you. Somebody that respects their source, and their fuel for life and love comes from your source, and you want them to match up with that. So if you have a list of 20 things, this is a must on that list. They must align with the way you see who's in charge of your life and the direction, who leads you. So out of everything else right now, you make sure that that's aligned, because they're telling you that this person has to see your source the way you do. You know, that's why you always hear in the generations they're saying, make sure that this person believes in what you believe in, because it's not saying that you can't fall in love with somebody that's not carrying the same religious beliefs as you. They're just saying the relationship is important when that person does, because that's something that's important to you, and you can't give up on when your religious beliefs are important to you and that's what you follow. You don't want somebody striving against that with you. So that's important to you. That's what the cards are saying, that religion is important to you and you want somebody that'll line up with that. So when you find that person and you all don't mesh right away, they're saying it's worth waiting for until you all recognize that there's possibilities there. So keep an open mind, because religion is a big factor for you. The universe is guiding you to that special person. So you haven't met them yet. So they're giving you the necessary tools and steps toward that person in that direction. The universe is guiding you to that special person. Allow everything to take its natural course. So don't force something that's not meant to be. You know what love is about? Love is more than just a feeling. I consider it a transaction. It's a transaction that complements you. It's where things are falling in line so that you can be your best self. A lot of times, I've done this, I'm guilty of this too, that person may meet some of the things on your list, but things that are really important to you tend to overlook for the sake of having that person and feeling that feeling. But if you don't line things up the way that you want it, that's why it's so important to put in your journal exactly the things that make you happy. Because when you get to meet people, and this one has 2 qualities on your checklist, this one has 3, this one has none, but they do this and they do that, we get so confused at times as far as who's right for us. We don't know. We know we like this about this person, we know we like that about this person, but our heart may be telling us this and our mind is telling us something else. Capricorn, that's where you settle down and you think about what you really want. Everybody's not going to check every box, as we know. But when it comes to your heart and that feeling that you have, sometimes we throw other qualities that we desire out the window because they've met one. Because when you're in love and you feeling, sometimes you just want to test it. Test the waters. It's exciting, it's exasperating, it's frustrating, it's wonderful, it's carefree. But then you have to come back down to reality. Love can be a fairy tale, but you don't stop for one thing. You look at the other things in your life that's important. And when those things come up short, We lose ourselves in our desires. You have to fulfill your needs, you have to fulfill your desires, and you have to fulfill your reality. You know, we tend to let things go for that immediate gratification, for fun. Some people say, okay, you know what? I'm not connected to this person completely, but I'm horny. You know, that box will be fulfilled. And then Capricorns, you're about your stability, you're about moving forward in life. And when you give yourself to somebody, you forget that it was just supposed to be for fun because you wrap your heart in it. You allow that sexual emotion to take over and you exclude everything else from your life because of that moment, that instant gratification. And if that person cannot check those boxes, you end up pulling away from them, but now you've committed yourself in a sense to them, and they want more, you want more, and you allow that sexual connection to take over. Sex is a good thing, I'm not gonna lie. It can make you feel like you on a jet ski and you just flowing through. You're knocking out the bumps along the way, and your mind is going back and forth, and the feelings are swaying. It's a wonderful thing. But what happens when you get off of that jet ski? What happens when reality checks in? That's when you ask yourself, is this the rightful person for me? And then you get yourself entangled in a relationship thinking that it's more than what it is. And it's not. That's why you, just as much as you enjoy the sexual contact, you must enjoy the reality check. You have to weigh your pros and cons. And that's how come a lot of relationships get into chaotic situations, because we just live for the moment at times because we're so stable and we know what we want. And sometimes you don't want to be boring. You want the excitement. You don't want to be bored. You want the excitement, the gratification. And then when you get involved with something that's not right for you, you feel bad after they don't check the boxes, but you're so entangled in the relationship. It's like a whirlwind experience. And what you really need, you're not getting because it wasn't meant to be that type of relationship. So your feelings get hurt. Sometimes people get obsessed with you, but you already know this is not what you want, because after the sex is over, you're thirsty for more because that's who you are. You want more. And this relationship will not give it to you if that's not how you step in. Step in with your stability. Step in with your rightful mind so it could develop and become what you really want it to become. Don't shortcut yourself because it will be short-lived. And the universe is letting you know, let the natural course take place as to the things that you really desire and you really need and you really want. Don't just go by a fly-by-night relationship. So they're preparing you where you're going to have to make some serious decisions on how you proceed. It's not going to be a quick moment thing. It's somebody that's fallen in line with what you want. So be very careful. Attraction. Divine soul counterpart attraction transcends superficially. Divine soul counterpart attraction transcends. So whoever you're feeling attracted to, divine soul counterpart attraction transcends. We tend to, ooh, she is beautiful. Oh, he is fine. Don't let that attraction make the final decision. It's a plus, it's a feather in the cap, but don't go over superficial qualities. You know, you'll be with friends and somebody fine just walks in and you be like, ooh, ooh. Let me give you an example. You know, I love to give examples. I don't just like to talk. I like to talk from experience, reference, or things that have been shared with me. I remember in New York, I was with my friends. We were teenagers, And we were riding the train, and there was this guy with a couple friends standing at the door. So as we're going through, the lights blink off and on, and then they go back on stable. And my friend was like, "Oh," and it's like about six of us, and we're all sitting down. And I think two of my friends were standing, holding the what is it, the rail or whatever. And one of my girlfriends, she said, "Oh my gosh, talk about fine. That dude is fine." She said, "I will tear him up." And we started laughing. And I looked over at him, and we got our eyes locked. We got eye contact. And he looked at me and I looked at him, and I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, damn, he looked good. Oh, oh. Ooh, talk about gravy and a biscuit. So everybody was like, yeah, yeah, he looked good. So my girlfriend was like, dang. She said, uh-oh, he walking over this way. He walking over this way. So I was blushing, and my friends was like, He looking over at her. He looking over at her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to look up. So came and he stood and he held the handle in front of me, and he was like, how you doing? And I looked up and wanted to make sure he was talking to me, because you don't want to be a fool out there and speak to somebody and ain't even talking to you. So I said, I'm good, and you? He said, oh, I'm all right. He said, looks like, he said, my eyes locked with yours, and I was really feeling you. And I was like, why? He's like, can I get your number? And he started smiling. Oh my gosh. All I could hear was my friends, oh, oh, He was missing, like, I tell you no lie, about 5, 6 teeth in his mouth. And my friend, she's like, you got that. Ooh, and they started laughing, and you know, and I was like, I'm dating somebody right now. I'm sorry. And he's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And he walked away. And my friends was like, like young people, we laugh at, what they say, LMAO. They was all over the seat in the train and falling back, throwing their heads back and everything. Like, you got that, girl. You got that. You sure know how to pick them. I said, y'all was saying how fine he was too. She said, that's till he opened his mouth. And everybody was laughing, and the dude got off the next stop and stuff like that. It was like so embarrassing. And my friends, they was characters back then. But my point is, don't go off of the looks. That was superficial. And this guy, I thought he was it. And when you get to the nitty gritty and you start opening the pages of the book, don't judge a book by its cover. When we started opening the pages, the first page was a knockout punch, because it was like self-care is important. And he didn't take care of himself. So he eliminated himself out the box. But all I was going on was the outside exterior. He was just fine as long as he kept his mouth closed. This is to say that take the time to get to know people. Take the time to read the pages in the book. Don't just go off what you see on the outside, because teeth are in the inside, and you don't see those until somebody opens their mouth. Then you start to get to know the rest. And it's important, because what people say, oh, you just judging a book by its cover. No, I was willing to get to know the rest of the chapters. But the first chapter was a knockout. It's not what I want. If you somebody that's in the public life and doing different things, do you want somebody that's toothless in your life? He could have been in an accident and lost those teeth, but you have to repair them. You got to do something, go on layaway, do whatever you can, because that's an image you don't want to be working with. So even though it may seem that it's being superficial, it's not. Because as long as he kept his mouth closed, the dude was good looking. But you want more than that, right? Because what could you read from that? Somebody could miss a tooth, not have money for the dentist, and you're judging them wrongly. But I'm just saying, you know what you want in life. And that was something I did not want. And to have friends like I had at that time, that was just a no no. People have to be able to look at the whole book, in and out, up and down, the back of the book, inside pages, read the chapters. When it's something that you want in life, you could work with it. That was a superficial thing in the sense that I didn't want to take the time to go further because the message that he gave me initially was lack of self care, whether it's right, whether it's wrong. You want somebody that you could present yourself with. One of my friends had a boyfriend that every time they had an event where she had like prestigious people that would be showing up, her bosses or clients or different things, she never invited him because of how he spoke in public. He didn't present himself in a professional manner. She loved him for who he was to a point because she got embarrassed by him. She never wanted to leave him alone with her friends, because he would say stupid things that would embarrass her, and she would hear about it at the office or different places like that. She didn't like that. There were friends that had husbands that always stayed professional. What they do at home or in the bedroom or with their friends is different, but they know how to separate. You hear people say, oh, they just fake when they go out. You could call it whatever you want to, but we as people have to be able to change things up. If you, and I've had debates about this. When you have a partner and you're able to take them out around your friends and company, and like the company might give a company party and different things, you want to know that if your boss was talking to him, or if there's a circle, that person is not going to sound like they straight from the streets. Or if you're around friends, they don't know how to just chill and relax and be with your friends. You want someone, I call it the multifaceted dude. Capricorn, you want a guy that you could take out in public, no embarrassment. You could go to a show with them, no embarrassment. They can hold a conversation, so you could go to the bathroom and not have to hold it because you don't want them to be around people that they might embarrass you. Admit it. That's who you are. So you have to be careful when you choose people to be in your life. You know, you have to be careful because you know what it is you want and what you expect. So make sure that the person that you're with respects that as well. Feelings. Take time out to explore the deep emotions you are experiencing. You ever be in love with somebody and they don't love you back? Or somebody loves you and you don't love them back? You have to be able to explore your feelings. Know how you feel when you're around this person. I remember watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Kenya had a good looking dude. He businessman, professional, but every time they were in public, he would say something to disrespect her. She could never feel comfortable like the other ladies because he would always come out with something to embarrass her or say something to embarrass her. That's like a throw of the dice. You want somebody that's supportive, and even if y'all got an issue, don't show it in front of my friends. Let's talk about it when we get home, privately. But when we out in public, I want your love and support. Is that too much to ask for in a relationship? Is that too much? Somebody that's not going to embarrass you? Or are you just accepting of it that, you know what, it's not that serious? All in the name of having a man or having a woman? is just too much. You have to have a multifaceted person in your life where you know that they cover the major bases for you. Whether it's wrong, whether it's right, whether people say you're shallow, whatever, you know what works for you. Because it's not a nice feeling for your partner, your husband, your wife to embarrass you in public, to not make you feel comfortable when you guys are out, to flirt with other people while you're there with them. I've seen that a lot. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. My parents, let me tell you something, and a lot of their friends. I grew up with people coupled up, married with their kids, where it wasn't the thing to have kids out of wedlock, and if you did, it was a little shame on you. But whatever the person was doing, they, even if they were cheating on the outside, they never let it come into the household. They carried on like all was well, whether it's right, whether it's wrong. I am a person that believes in respect in a relationship. You can't control people, what they do, what they say. I understand that. But what I will say to you is, what do you want? What are you willing to settle for? What are your feelings about the situation? Is the person that you are with someone that makes you feel whole, that makes you feel important, that puts you as a top priority? Or are they somebody that goes out and you got to worry about who they talk to, how they speak, the things that they say? Capricorn, the person that you are, it does matter to you. And if you say it doesn't, you're not being fully honest. I'm talking to Capricorns right now. You don't like these fly by night relationships. You don't like people that are cheating on people. There's certain things you don't like. I know when my parents went out, respect factor was always there. It didn't even have to be said. It was just acknowledged, it was known, and it was something that transpired in relationships at that time. My parents would go out, they would have a good time, they could talk to other people, laugh with other people. But as far as anything crossing over the boundaries, my father didn't disrespect my mother. Now, what he did outside when they weren't together, I've heard stories from my mom, of course, but she said he never disrespected her. He never flirted with anybody in front of her. That's just how it is. Respect is a necessary tool that must be utilized for you, Capricorn. So make sure that in any relationship you get involved with, that respect is there, because that is something that you really, really desire. That can make or break a relationship for you. You want someone that can speak, someone that respects you, someone that supports you, someone you could have a good time with, someone that's on the same religious factors with you. These are questions you have to find out the answers to through your experience. That's why I say read the book, understand the chapters. Questions that you know you have, ask them, or continue reading the book so they can be solved. Don't try to do what everybody else is doing, because that's not you. You like certain things in life. Stability is number one. You don't want anybody that's just in it for the sex and then they jump. And that's why they're putting this information in front of you, so you pay attention, and pay attention with the wise side of you. Worth waiting for. Waiting for. That means just don't take anything to settle for. Take the time and wait for what it is that you want. Because there'll be a lot of heartache on the path if you just jump in things, whether it's just because of sex, good looks, whatever it is. Those things are important to you as well. They're on your checklist, but you know there's more to it. Friendship. You want somebody that you could be friends with. It says successful couples are good friends. Somebody that it plays out all the way. This person makes you laugh, makes you smile, makes you happy, make you joyful. Those are adjectives that are important to you. So don't settle. Don't settle. Some people wear a mask even when they don't have one on that you can see. There's a mask of who they are. Make sure you unveil that mask. Make sure. I know what it's like to be with someone that wears a mask that no one else could see. So make sure when you make a decision, you take off the exterior mask, you take off the inner mask, and you reveal your truth with this person and see if they fall in line with you. Because there could be two people together that don't have anything in common, don't respect one another, but when they're in public, they put this facade on like we're the best couple in the world. The only person you're fooling and hurting is yourself. Make sure you know who you're with. Be friends with this person first and let that friendship develop into something more. Because they've met the needs of friendship, now they have to meet the needs of what you want for a relationship. And I think we need to start focusing on more than superficial aspects. We need to make sure that this person could be our friend before they become our lovers, before they become our spouses, before they become our significant others, before they're allowed to play at our heartstrings. But for the need not to be lonely, we tend to succumb to a smile here and there or some things that meet some of the things we want. Look at the whole picture. When you look at the whole picture, you discover things that you didn't even realize. That's why I say it's important to write down what it is you want. Because when you just have it fly by night, you don't even realize how important certain things are to you. Love is important. Love gives you strength through life. When you love somebody and they love you, you could overcome anything together when you believe and love each other. But when you're just there for superficial things, it never lasts. And if it does last, it's just a facade. You're pretending. You're pretending. Capricorns, you don't like to pretend. You like the real deal. So make sure that this person is checking some of those boxes seriously. Look at that. Happiness. Unlock the doors to happiness. Write down 7 things that make you happy. And before you encounter any permanency with this person, make sure that they can match up with at least half of those things. You could work on the other half if you want to, but make sure they're checking some boxes. Don't just grab it and run with it. And that's why I say, when people take the time to get to know people, they know how far this relationship is going to go. But some people don't want to be alone, so they tolerate certain things just to say they're in a relationship. Girl, I got a man. What about you? Oh, I have a woman. You know, but do you really? Do you really? Do you really? Make sure that you know what you want and go for it. But make sure you read in the chapters in the book so you could know if this is something that you can continue with. If this is a book you can continue reading, or you're done after chapter 2 or 3. Read the pages. Get to know the person. Meet their family. See if this is a family you want to be attached to, because when you make this decision, you're not looking on the short-term end of it. You need to look on the long-term end of it. If it's a man that treats his mother well, respects certain things, that's a closer chance because you love and treat your mother well. Now, if they don't, what's that story about? What's that story about? Read the book, read the chapters, and figure things out. It could be that she ill-treated her children, mistreated them. Or it could mean that he's just nasty and has no respect. If you don't want to respect your mother, come on. Every book has a story to tell. Read the book. Faithfulness. Everything that's important to you is in this book. Do you want somebody that when they're in the streets, they playing around and then you hear that, well, I know he come home to me no matter what. So he could be sleeping with other people, doing all of this, doing all of that, bringing home stuff to you. But because he's sleeping in your bed at night is okay. Think about what you want. If she is out there and she just can't get it out her system when she got a party with the girls and she got to do this and she got to do that, is that what you want? The problem is we settle for things we don't want. We stay with it until we explode. Then abuse may start up, uneasiness. You're not even comfortable in a relationship, embarrassed by things that this person does. Let me tell you something. I know what it's like to go through the weeds to find the right person that you are proud to walk down the aisle with, that your heart pitter patters when you see them, that they're supportive, they make you look better and feel better. You ever go out your man or your woman and you step in and your heart is just pounding because you love them? Let me tell you something. There's been times that my husband and I have been dressed and everything to go out, and then you're in the house and you start looking at each other. The kids already set up with grandma or the babysitter, whatever it is, and you look at each other and y'all are dressed and you look at your partner and you just be like licking your lips. You just, damn, you look good. And they say the right things. You go out with them and you're dancing together. My husband and I used to be able, we would dance all night long at a party. And then you know what happened? Our friends would get jealous sometimes and get mad at their partners, their spouses, and say, look at this one and this one, dancing and enjoying each other and loving on each other. All you want to do is go stand on the wall or hang out with this one or do that. You don't even acknowledge me. And a lot of couples would start arguing because we would exemplify what it is they wanted out of their relationships. Now, we had our ups and downs, but when we spend time together and we make up our mind that we are in love and we are together, nothing else mattered. That's the kind of relationship anybody would strive for, where you're showing love to one another, you're respecting one another, supporting one another. We have our arguments behind closed doors, yeah. But the foundation is what's important for a long-lasting relationship, not a quick fix. So make sure there's no perfect people, there's no perfect person, there's no perfect relationship. But as you forge forward, stay in tune with what it is you're seeking. Stop accepting whatever, the status quo, whatever. You know, figure out what you want out of life, write it down, and go for it so you could experience the fairy tale love that you're seeking. I mean, if someone is more than halfway there, you can work with them. You're not trying to change people, but you're trying to make sure the person that you put to represent you as your partner, as your love interest, can check the boxes. So you want something that's real. Your feelings are important. You embrace this love, this friendship. Somebody that's in line with your religious beliefs. Someone that can be faithful. And someone that brings you joy and happiness. So keep an open mind. Take your time and wait for what you want. Love is a real deal thing. And when you feel those feelings, not where you belittle yourself just to be with that person, there are people that you will love that will not love you back, that will not treat you right. Those are not people that should keep you as a magnet and just draw you to them. Because you know what, Capricorn, you're not going to be happy. So I say, prepare yourself for real love. Real love. Ooh. That's what you want. Get as close to it as possible by paying attention to what you want and making sure that person meets those boxes. Love is a real thing. And when you experience it, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. When you experience it, it'll have you floating on air. Who doesn't want to be floating on air and still be able to come back down to reality and not settle, but enjoy what they have? That's all for today. Real love. That's what I'm talking about. Floating on love, the real deal. Peace and love to you, Capricorn. Go for what you want, long term, not short term. Have a great one. Peace and love, Capricorn. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care.